Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by thelines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer on the East Coast right now, out there in Italy. But we still have play of props for you guys coming through with a 12-game slate here in the NBA on Monday night. We also have best bets up, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page and continue to follow along all season with us. Also head to thelines.com, use that prop finder tool that we are using each and every morning to make sure we're getting the best odds available on all of these bets that we are making in the NBA this season. Nate, let's go ahead and get into a man who has been very kind to us when we bet on him, and that is James Harden.
Yeah, I mean, he came through with flying colors on Friday. Not much else went right, so I will go back to it here after he played limited minutes because it was a blowout on Sunday. So it is a back-to-back situation here. He's not a guy who is really bothered by back-to-backs, though. Obviously, he'll play basketball every single day if that's an option once he's ramped up, and he is certainly ramped up. I mean, in rhythm his last four, averaging 20.5 points, 10.5 assists. So I'm going to combine the points and assists. Once again, it's the same number as what we took on Friday, and he had a triple-double. 27.5 points, assists, and then the double-double has more juice, plus 125 at Caesars. I think quarter unit this time, though, not as confident as against Toronto because it is the Cavs. Great defense, but Harden has a double-double in 7 straight matchups against Jared Allen and company, including last 5 with the Sixers, averaged 23 points, 11 assists, despite not shooting particularly well from 3, but he got to the line and got Allen in a blender on pick and rolls. We talked about his last 15. Basically, he's been hot, averaging 17 and 10. He's been playing the best basketball of his life, plus 156 on the floor there. I don't think the Cavs are going to be blown out like the Celtics. Not really a chance, I think. They're one of the hotter teams in the league, and it's just an extended rest spot for them. They've been off since Friday. They're at home. Obviously, Boston had to deal with some injuries there on Sunday and came out a little sleepy. But the one place the Cavs might be exploitable is free throw attempts lately. Granted, they played 2 in a row against Milwaukee, which will give you up a lot of free throw attempts. But I think Harden will be able to get to the line, soften up that defense, and then find some guys. I mean, he's just passing with such precision right now, and the Clippers' offense is the best in the league since the start of December because he's the engine.
Yeah, 100%. I'm with that. We'll keep hitting James Harden until he really shows that anybody can stop him and anybody can stop this offense, which has been the best offense in the league, unsurprisingly, not unsurprisingly, just it's clear that it's the moment in time where that offense just started to skyrocket is obviously when James Harden sort of stepped in as the clear-cut point guard, getting all those potential assists. So, yeah, I'm with James Harden until we ride with that one for a while. Colin Sexton, another guy we've been riding around with for a while, and 27.5 PRA is where he's at now. I'm still going over for Colin Sexton in a matchup against this Brooklyn Nets team who, to be honest, like they're not good against point guards, but they can actually stop smaller point guards. Like they're not as bad when they're playing guys who don't quite get to the rim, who rely on 3-pointers, who rely on even assists and passing and getting it back. Colin Sexton's just been an awesome, amazing ISO player. He's been great attacking the rim. He's been getting to the free throw line, more than 5 a game over his last 10. And really, everything for him has been awesome, man, as we all know. And finally, the minutes are consistently there. They were at around 22, 23 minutes, even 20 minutes as early as like December, the beginning of December. And at this point, he solidified himself as a 30-minute a game guy. The only one of the few, because he and Lauri Markkanen are really the only two averaging 30 over those last 10 for this team. Even Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, getting about 28, another leading guy, but still not even as many minutes as Colin Sexton, like I said, who is the clear-cut point guard. And if he's going to get those 30 minutes, then we're going to feel good about his per 36 numbers, which have been absolutely absurd over the course of the last 15, basically like 37 points a game in that time frame. So, the last time they played this team, awful defense against the point guards, like I was saying, for Brooklyn. He just went off. That was at home. Doesn't really have much difference in how he plays at home versus on the road. Colin Sexton, pretty much the same numbers over these last 15, coming off 27 points alone, 3 boards and 6 assists in 35 minutes about a month ago against this Brooklyn Nets team. And like I said, with those minutes hanging around, the only time he hasn't gone over in the last 10 is when he played 17 minutes against Washington, when they just blew the doors off of them and didn't really need to play much in that game. There was one other bad game for him in there, but 8 out of 10, I should say. The isolation will be there for him as well. Brooklyn just really, who do they have on defense that you like besides maybe Nick Claxton? Not a great one-on-one defender if you're bigger than he is. And then McHale, they'll probably be putting some McHale on Sexton at times. But then when Jordan Clarkson came on the floor last game, that's who Mikal guarded. And Jordan Clarkson actually started last game, which will be a reverse in this one. Colin Sexton will be starting. Maybe he'll get a little bit more Mikal, but when Jordan Clarkson comes on the floor, it is that is the defender, which leaves not much left, right? Dinwiddie been awful this season. Cam Thomas, I don't think I need to tell you, is too small and bad to play defense on Colin Sexton, who's a very big point guard. So this is just another bad matchup. Like I said, big point guards against this team who can get into isolation and just take their dude who's too small for them, mouse in the house style, is going to have success. And if Colin Sexton's going to get to the line 5 times like he has been, then I don't even need him to take more than like 2 threes for him to get this number.
I do think Ben Simmons is back tonight, so they will have a big point guard.
Send Bimmons.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take his rebounds and assists when that pops up, probably. I will not take him to score. I don't think he's going to be matching up on Sexton too much, right? I mean, he can almost guard Markkanen when he's out there, much bigger body. And it should probably increase the pace of the game when Simmons is out there and just get you more stats in general. Sexton, I whiffed on this one again in that Washington game because it was a blowout because he didn't do anything. But now you're getting 4 stats fewer, right? It was 31.5 PRA against Washington. All of a sudden, the books are saying like, he ain't it. No, he's still the same part of this offense. And like I said, with Simmons out there, maybe this Nets team is a little more high scoring. Luka is it, and you might be too scared to take it, but I'm going to go under 57.5 PRA. Which he did, following up his, disgraceful 73-point game. I say disgraceful on the Atlanta Hawks side because they just played 0 defense. I mean, we did mention we thought Luka was going to go off after getting called out by the media, and he did have a great triple-double against Zach, but still that only nets 55 PRA. That did not get you there. Now it's his 3rd game in 4 nights, playing 91 combined minutes the previous 2, and he's going up against Orlando, right? The black and blue defense that limits everything. In their last 10, they're allowing the 3rd fewest assists, 7th fewest free throws, 5th fewest 3-point attempts. They allow the fewest assists total at home, just under 23. And, they last 5 against Luka held him to pretty impressive numbers. 31 points, 6.5 rebounds, 6 assists. That still only gets you 43.5 PRA. And yes, Kyrie is out, but in a large sample size, 60 games since the middle of last season, he averages 54 PRA. So I will take him to get his average or a little less against a Magic team that just plays slow, 92 pace in this last 10 stretch, and limits point guards over everything, especially big-bodied point guards. They just throw guys at you. Maybe Markelle Fultz doesn't play here, but, I mean, that probably helps your defense more, and you just get more defensive bodies to throw at him. I guess Suggs is being at the forefront of that spear, right?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I don't know that there's a good matchup for Luka in the league, so I'm not going to try to pinpoint who's going to be the guy to slow him down. It's definitely a team effort entirely. And a big part of that too is if he's not getting the dimes, he's not getting the assists, and he doesn't have outlets, and you can really take more things away from him. Derrick Jones Jr. is also questionable, right? And there's a couple other guys as well that I think I wrote down for
Exum,
yeah, Exum, exactly. Dante Exum's the other guy. So who's handling the ball besides Luka? If he's the only dude who can handle the ball, then he's gonna have to rely on guys that are not quite his starters to score a lot of points. Maybe some Derek Lively stuff because the lob is there a bit more than anything, but really nothing else. Like you said,
and the lob get on the treadmill.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know that the lob will be there without Derrick Jones Jr. You've got Derek Lively, but even against this Magic team who's got such a good defensive field goal percentage inside of 5 feet in the restricted area, all that, there's not going to be much available there. You're relying on a bunch of threes from Tim Hardaway Jr. You're going to need a lot of help for Luka to get there. So I would agree that's too many stats for him, even though it's terrifying to take an under 57.5, man. There's only a couple guys in the league that would ever see that number, and he's obviously one of them. So let me close it out here with my guy, Brolo, and talk about Brook Lopez, who has been so kind to me. 6 of my last 7 bets that I've played again with him have hit. I have Brolo pinpointed, and it is obviously helpful when you can just sort of look at who's on the other side of the floor for him. Is it someone that he has to guard? The answer is yes. You're going to get even more minutes than you normally get, and he's already playing minutes. So I'm going with the PRA over 18.5. He's gone over this number in 10 straight. He's gone over it in 12 of his last 15. He's averaging 34 minutes a game in that time. And there's a couple of games in there where he didn't get many minutes because they were blowing out a team or they got blown out by the Cavs the other night. And so he played like 17 minutes in that one. But other than that, he's averaging 14 points a game, 7 boards, and the 2.5 assists. And the boards have been there for our guy, man. He's actually leading the team in rebound chances over the course of those last 10 games, which is wild. Giannis slightly less than him in those 12.5 rebound chances. Yeah, the 3.5 potential assists is also awesome. Like, he's just very involved in the offense. He's been playing down low on the block a bit more, has a few more post-ups per game, but I'm not even really worried about that. I'm just know the minutes are coming. I know that he's going to have to be in there to defend Joker. He's the only dude on the team that you even have an iota of trust in to be able to like limit or at least slow down a little bit Nikola Jokic. So with that in mind, like, yeah, 35 minutes is on the docket. Last year, he went under this number a bunch against this team both times because of the first one. It was a blowout win at home without Jokic. In the second one, it was a blowout loss in Denver with Jokic playing in that game. So we haven't seen much from these two teams yet in terms of an actual competitive matchup. But when they are competitive, you look at who Brolo has been in there against, who he's done this against in the last 10. There's centers, pretty good centers in all but like 7 of those last 10 games, or excuse me, a couple of those last 10 games, including the tiny little Warriors there. But everybody else has had someone in there that's formidable enough for him to guard between the Bulls and the Cavs, obviously all these other teams. So I just follow the minutes with Brolo. I know that the shot attempts are going to be there because he's got to stretch the floor. He's got to pull Jokic away from the basket as well. That's a good reason why he's had 4 to 5 3-point attempts in his last 10 as well. So I'm really good with everything that Brolo has here for the numbers, and like he's just green right now, man. He's going over this number consistently. Even getting the 2 to 3 assists a game is really, really helpful.
Yeah, and Doc Rivers comes in, old school guy. Like, I don't see him being like, "Oh, we need to go small here against Joker." I don't know who would try to take that mode, but I mean, Brolo also seems like a guy who's like, "Yeah, coach, I'm going to make a good impression. I'll give you 36 hard minutes." Like, Doc's going to give him 36 plus minutes. Like, everybody, trying to get off on the right foot here and probably trying to play some of those defensive principles that we're talking about. We don't think they're necessarily going to hold Denver under 120 because just the personnel is lacking and because it's Joker at home. But yeah, Lopez is going to be out there, I think, for close to 36 here if it's remotely close. And I think he'll get the stats if he's out there.
Yeah, I think honestly the biggest worry is like, are the Nuggets going to blow out the Bucks in a random weird game with their first coach or something? I don't think so. I think the Bucks will at least bring the effort, and the offense will be there for them. Even if they bring the effort on defense and can't bring it, they will bring it on offense, and that's where we'll get Brolo stuff, and we'll get this game at least close enough to get some offensive stats for Brooke in this one. But that is all the time we have for you guys in our player props video here. We also have best bets up, so make sure to like and subscribe to that page and continue to follow along all season. Until we see you next, happy betting.